35 years after the original, we get our 5th solo Predator film and our first prequel with Dan Trachtenberg's Prey. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. If you're new here, I'm Carter Scotland Allen. This is my film page where I talk anything and everything film related, as well as sharing my professional filmmaking journey. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you like movie related content. I have now finished reviewing every single Predator film leading up to the release of Prey on Hulu, so now it's time to get into the latest Predator installment. A skilled Comanche warrior protects her tribe from a highly evolved alien predator that hunts humans for sport, fighting against wilderness, dangerous colonizers, and this mysterious creature to keep her people safe. Okay, so we're going to start with the directing for this film. This film was directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who you guys might know did 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I absolutely love that film. I do need to go and rewatch it because I loved it when I saw it. I watched it 2 or 3 times. I need to see it again. With Dan Trachtenberg behind this installment, I knew this film was going to be good, but I had no idea how much I was truly going to love this film. In this film, he brings a real sense of simplicity with the overall story, as well as the actual nature of the Predator itself. But on top of that, he also brings immense complexity with the way that the Predator moves around the environment and just the little bit of exploration into the Predator technology. Okay, now moving on to the cast and the characters. This easily has to be some of the best characters in any Predator film, and there's really only 2 main characters. We have Naru, our main character, played by Amber Midthunder, who I thought she did a fantastic job, as well as her brother, played by Dakota Beavers, who he was fine. He did the role exactly, the way that I'm assuming he was supposed to. Everybody in this film is great. You have a bunch of side characters that don't ultimately really amount to anything, but that's not a bad thing. They're all there to do the part that they were meant to do, and they execute. Again, all of the characters play their part. Seeing the Frenchman colonizer storyline was actually really cool and a nice touch, as well as seeing Raphael Adolini was fantastic. I called it in my Predator 2 review that we were going to somehow figure out where that gun came from. I'm so happy that it actually came true, and I would love to see the story of that gun continue in another prequel to the original and a sequel to this. Also, seeing Raphael Adolini pull out that gun was awesome. Just seeing him in general was cool, but the second that he pulled out the gun, I was like, holy shit, screaming for joy at the screen. It was fantastic. It was awesome. I was so happy to see it included in the film. Okay, now moving on to the story for the film. Just like the characters, the story is also extremely simple. The Predator comes to Earth and works its way up the food chain. Meanwhile, Naru works her way up the social food chain inside her tribe, trying to become a successful hunter. The film is simple, and it works extremely well because it takes the franchise back to its simpler roots. Just like Dutch and his crew in the original film, and Naru in this film, they're all kind of just put in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's all truly about who can become the Predator and overcome the Predator. Okay, now moving on to the visuals for the film. As for the visuals, I think this film looks fantastic. I have heard some complaints about the CGI, but we'll talk about that in just a second. I don't personally have any complaints though. All the visuals showcasing the land, the geography, and the environments feel super crisp and clean. You actually know what you're looking at. It just feels real and like you could be where Naru is, where the Predator is. It just all feels so very visceral. The film doesn't have much visual flair, and that's honestly kind of a good thing. It relies on just using the environment and basically telling this story visually in the most grounded, realistic way possible, even though you have an alien on your hands. As for the design of the Predator, the practical presence of the Predator is absolutely 100% necessary and 100% guaranteed with this film. I was blown away with the look of the Predator. You can tell that it's real. You can tell that there's, it's somebody in a suit, but it looks so badass. It's awesome. It's one of the coolest Predator designs we've ever had. Anytime the Predator was on screen, fully visible or not, I was 100% engaged. Now, getting back to the CGI, I have heard some people complain about the way that the animals look, but I honestly have zero complaints with that. Yeah, it's not, 100% photorealistic, but you're almost never going to get that, and especially with a movie going straight to streaming, of course it's going to have somewhat of a smaller budget. But here's where I especially don't have a problem with the CGI, because of the fact that it all looks so consistent throughout the film. You're not dealing with one shot of a real bear and then one shot of a CGI bear. You're dealing with CGI everything. I just hit myself in the face. But you're dealing with CGI everything, whether it's the rat, the bunny, the wolf, and it all feels very consistent with what they should look like. There's no, the bear doesn't look particularly better than the ant. It all looks very consistent, and I appreciate it for that. Okay, and now it's time to talk about the score. The score in this film isn't bad in any way. It just sits in the background, in my opinion, which honestly works for the story that they're trying to tell. When it comes to The Predator, I can honestly say that every time that I think about The Predator, I do think about that classic Alan Silvestri score. No, I did not want to hear that theme in this film. I just would have liked to feel maybe a couple tones of it, and maybe I missed them. Maybe I was just so into what I was seeing that I just couldn't focus on the musical notes. So I will be going back and rewatching this because this is already one of my favorites of the year. But again, as for the score, it's kind of something that just stayed in the background for me. But it worked on the first viewing. We'll see how it goes after watching it a second time. Time to move on to the final thoughts. Overall praise, without a doubt, one of, if not the best Predator sequel. Prey is one of my favorite films of the year, and I would love a sequel so that way we could see how Raphael Adolini's gun makes it from Naru back to the Predators to give to Danny Glover's character in Predator 2. This movie was awesome, and I had a great time covering each Predator film. Now that I have ranked all of the Predator films, I will also be ranking all of the Predator films in a video coming out either later today or tomorrow, as well as a top 15 kills in the Predator franchise. I almost said top 10, but I couldn't just do top 10. There was a couple extras that I had to throw in there, so a top 15 kills in the Predator franchise video will be coming out also, so be sure to go check those videos out. And also just letting you guys know, the Predator comic book giveaway is officially over, and I will be messaging the 3 winners to send out those comic books. I will be posting that video shortly, but thank you guys for entering, those of you that entered, and I hope to do more giveaways. But that's it for Predator content for now, until we get another reboot, or hopefully a sequel to this film. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Carter Scotland Allen. I will see you guys in my next movie-related video. I will be covering the Halloween franchise, as well as the Scream franchise leading up to Halloween Ends, and of course Scream 6. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more movie-related news and movie reviews. I'm Carter Scotland Allen, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.